All right, so today's video comes from Inu Blue, who wrote, Tax Freedom Day might be a cool video. So I thought that this would be a cool video just because I'd never really thought about it. When it comes to making videos about this type of stuff, I like to stick to things like the wage gap and inequality in the wage cage, those types of videos. Whenever I veer off course from making that type of video, you guys don't watch. In fact, this morning I got a message from YouTube asking me what happened with yesterday's afternoon video. Apparently, you guys weren't as thrilled as I was about meeting Jill. So, with that said, let's get into our introductory monologue. You think you're working for yourself, but the truth is, every hour you clock in is just another hour feeding the system. From January to April, every dollar goes straight to the government before you even see it. And they've got the nerve to act like you're doing you a favor when they give you a little back. That refund is so excited that you're so excited about. That's just your own money they borrow for free while you struggle to buy groceries. Now that was a pretty powerful statement. But I think most of us understand that the only way that the proletariat wins in this world is the lottery. So every time we get something for free, like a stimulus check, we take it as a victory, when the reality is we need a lot more help than a one-time check that barely covers rent. If you're like me during the pandemic, when you got your refund check or you got your stimulus check, it was just 1 month of rent. That's all it was. Nothing more, nothing less. And to me, to get excited about that was absolutely stupid. But let's get into our 4 talking points. Tax Freedom Day, modern day servitude. Tax Freedom Day marks the point where you finally start earning for yourself. I've always understood, I always looked at it from the perspective of you work 3 days a week for Uncle Sam, you work 2 days for yourself. And that's just the way that it is. Because we always look at those countries, the Scandinavian countries, and think, oh my gosh, they're getting taxed into the ground with their 60% tax rates. But the reality is, those people are way happier than we will ever be. Which reminds me of something I heard, I don't know, in the last few months. It's like, why don't those people ever immigrate to the United States? Why is it always the people that we don't want that immigrate to the United States? Why would a person who lives with financial and social stability ever want to come to an armpit like America? Because when you're over there, even the people that live in jail have a higher standard of living than the bottom 99% in this country. Because if you're like me, I had to send a letter to my landlord on Saturday that I was completely and totally fed up with the roach infestation in this house and that I needed to get out of this place as soon as possible. This place has parts of it that actually smell like roaches. Like there's a certain smell that comes out of the microwave. When I open the fridge, there's a smell. There's piles of roaches and roach droppings nearly every place I go in my house. And that's not an exaggeration. It is absolutely disgusting. This is an analogy for the standard of living in America. Everything about our life is substandard, from our housing to our paychecks to our cars to everyday life. We leave our homes to go sit in the wage cage for 8 to 16 hours a day. We come home, we barely have time to relax before we have to be back at the cage again. It is Monday morning. I have to be in the cage in 1 hour and 10 minutes. I am not looking forward to going to work. I never look forward to going to work. In fact, it was a video that I was planning on doing based on a comment someone left that corporate America doesn't like jobs that are complicated. Your job is intentionally boring. It is intentionally dull. They don't want creativity. They don't want free thinkers. They want people who are going to show up and do the same thing. Like I tell people all the time, I basically work on an assembly line all day long doing the same thing over and over and over again for unlivable wages. That's corporate America for you. And it was created that way to make certain that the proles made just enough money to come back tomorrow, but not a penny more. All right, let's go on to talking point number 2. Tax refunds are not gifts. Let's just put it that way. It's not a present from the government. It's not a happy meal that you get. It's the exact opposite. It is the unhappy meal of America. People celebrate tax refunds like they just hit the lotto, but that money the government held hostage all year. So again, we come back to the lottery. Why is it that everything having to do with poor people and poor people getting ahead involves chance, involves luck? It's never about hard work leading to a successful life. Even the part where you work hard means that you need to know someone to get the right job, to be in the right situation at the right place at the right time. If you're unfortunate enough to be me, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, working the wrong job, and you're stuck there. Without the possibility of getting connections to a better job, to a better life, if you're on Indeed looking for a job like I am, you've already lost. The game was rigged against you from the second you started looking for work. Because if you open up the pages of Indeed, all you find is crap jobs. You find jobs that want a master's degree and 10 years of experience for $17 an hour. And you wonder, how do they advertise these jobs like this? And the fact is, they will continue to look for that person until they find them. Desperation in our current society, it reeks. And that's why so many people play the lottery. And why this is the only viable way out of poverty. You're not going to work your way out of poverty while you're serving hamburgers at McDonald's. It just doesn't work that way. Even higher level work, warehouse work, restaurant work, retail work, we're in a service industry. There aren't that many good jobs. Even jobs that would have been considered to be good jobs 20 years ago are no longer good jobs. Trade jobs, not good jobs. It seems like no matter what you do to improve your situation, there's someone there to keep you down. The system itself keeps you down. The lack of opportunity in our society is what's keeping you down. Having to turn to the lottery is the ultimate sense of desperation. Because just like with anything else, every week you hold on to your ticket hoping it's your turn to leave the proletariat. But what happens at the end of the week? You're out the money for the lottery ticket, and you know that someone's going to come pick you up by the scruff of your neck and put you back in the wage cage, because that's where proles belong. They don't belong winning the lottery or enjoying their lives or going on lavish vacations or even having any sense of what the word happy means anymore. I've been so miserable throughout my life that when people look at me and they smile, I wonder what's wrong with them. Especially in public when they have no reason to be smiling. When I'm at work, I'm in the most miserable place you can imagine. I have to zone out constantly while I'm at work. This is a criticism I had of my parents when I was little, is that I grew up absolutely hating music. And there's one reason for it, is that proles use music to get them through the tough times, whether it's a breakup, whether it's just sheer boredom, or you have nothing better to do, or I associate it with cleaning toilets, because it's the noise that was coming out of the radio while my mother, the house cleaner, was scrubbing toilets. So forever in my mind, music and scrubbing toilets will always go together. And so therefore I can't stand music in any conceivable way. So when I hear it from any place, it just reminds me of deep-seated poverty and trying to tune out from that situation. Because all proles do this. Most of them do it with music, some do it with Netflix, some do it by getting it on behind the Taco Bell. Like there's a reason why my mom had 5 children with 5 different men. Getting it on is the number one activity to zone out for the proletariat. Unfortunately, most men only get to shake hands with the governor, but it's still the same thing. You're zoning out thinking about someone else or watching the hub or doing something in order to not have to live in reality. That's what we all do. That's why entertainment is one of the most valuable things that you can sell to proletariat, because they can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. And if you're a pro man like myself, well, your nights are very, very lonely and very long and sad. It's almost a tragedy to imagine people, an entire class of people living at the bottom, scraping by, throwing handfuls of dirt into their mouth and calling it food. The same way that we throw handfuls of dirt into our mouth and tell ourselves we're alive every morning. Because you're not. You've been gone a long time. Your body keeps moving through the paces of going to work and doing your chores and pretending. It's always about pretending to be something alive, happy, awake. Most of us close our eyes when we get to work because we have to. We understand that the pain of working is too much and we don't like it and we never will like it. That's the worst part. Is there's never going to come a time where the proletariat is happy to go to work. They may tell you that you will own nothing and be happy. Well, sure, I like the part where you will own nothing, but be happy. That's never going to happen. With the quality of life being so diminished and no hope for anything better. This form of government that we're enduring right now is just means that inflation will just get worse, the jobs will get worse, and your overall sense of being. Most of us are going to get to a point where we're just going to sleep with a bottle in one hand and whatever other substance we need in the other, because that's it. That's the only point in which you feel anything in your life. Talking point number 3. Withholding is designed to keep you quiet and confused. They take a little off each check so you don't notice how much you're losing. Death by 1,000 deductions. Haven't you ever felt that everything in life is a deduction? Your housing is a deduction. Your transportation is a deduction. Your food is a deduction. Every part of being a human being is a deduction. Even your relationships that you don't have seem to be a deduction that you get nothing out of. Every day, most of us hope to go out into the world and meet someone. Meet someone that will bring an end to the loneliness and to the shaking of hands with the governor so many times daily. But the reality is that most of us are going to spend our entire lives looking, hoping, but at the end of the night coming home and wondering how we go on for another day. Because it's not easy being alone. And it's not easy finding yourself paying for stupid things. I know so many people that pay for Tinder, Hinge, Bumblebee, or Bumble, or whatever dating sites, swiping mindlessly, hoping to escape the monotony of daily life. Then let's say you do meet someone. The chances of compatibility there are, I don't know. I think we'd have to ask NASA to calculate this equation that goes to the moon and back on the possibility of actually meeting someone that likes you. Because just like with everything else in life, most people that you're going to meet throughout your life don't like you. Your boss doesn't like you. Evil Corp doesn't like you. Your coworkers don't like you. And I've said many times, even your family members look down upon you for working in retail at your age. And when they tell you that you're a loser, you internalize it. Because where does it hurt more? When your significant other makes size of your tiny little wang? Or when your mother tells you, you're such a disappointment. We spent so much money to send you to college, and look what you've accomplished. You're still working at McDonald's as a 40-year-old man that's still living at home. That hurts. That cuts a man deep. And that demoralizes him to the point where those deductions, those thousands of emotional deductions every month add up to a life that's not worth living. At least my opinion. My final talking point today is the rich don't play by these rules. You're over here getting taxed on every cent while billionaires find ways to pay less than your babysitter. There's a severe double standard in our society, the same double standard that I think exists between men and women in their earning potentials. If you're a semi attractive woman, you can make money on OnlyFans. If you're a semi attractive man, well, you're not going to make money on OnlyFans. You're going to make money the hard way by spending hours and hours working for Amazon, then going and working for Uber. And then when you think you have nothing left, you're going to flip burgers till 2 o'clock in the morning. That's the life of the mediocre man. That's the life I live. The mediocre life of knowing that no matter how hard you try, it's always going to be multiple jobs, low income, low status male. And when women meet a low status male, the last thing they want to do is engage with you. It's almost like you wear what you are on your face all day. In fact, I saw that in the comment section that earlier this morning, where someone said that they had an IT guy that was trying to run an entire building by himself because they wouldn't hire more people. Story of my life at my current Evil Corp. Do more with less people. And the way they describe the look on his face is the way that I imagine that all men in a society that only rewards success and demonizes failure. That's the look that we have. We have no respect from our peers, from anyone. Women look at us and just laugh. They treat us like garbage. And we're supposed to just continue as if nothing's wrong. That's the beautiful thing about living in America, is that regardless of what's happening to you, you're not supposed to complain. That's why this channel exists. Because I'm out here complaining. Because this isn't the life I expected to live. And when people say that I put too many pregnant women in my backgrounds, that's you inside that belly. That's me inside that belly, with no choice on becoming a wage slave. We're in there. We were created for the cage with no escape. That's why there are so many pregnant women in my videos, because it's our creation. It's the fact that no one asked for permission to bring us into this wicked world, only to suffer in working for 60 years and then be thrown into a pine box while the next generation is being grown silently inside the belly of Susie Rottencrotch. That's why they're there, to remind you that you did not have a choice on how you were expected to live your life.